Welcome back, one and all, and we are here with another volume of Mushoku Tensei, specifically Volume 8, because we did Volume 7 last time. And now we're back on track with the plot, because as you remember, Volume 7 was almost basically a filler episode. Anyway, for those of you who don't remember, at the end of the last volume, Rudy had become a pretty famous and pretty well-known adventurer, as he had gone out in a way to raise his reputation and try to find his mother his own way, because Paul was having no success. As well as also in a side journey to find a way to cure his newly discovered ED that he got after Eris bailed on him, and, well, obviously he's not feeling much of nothing after that. It's amid this that he gets two surprises. One, a busty elf named Elenise, or Elenise. I'm just gonna call her Ella from now because that is a complicated name to actually say out loud. Anyway, she is yet another one of Paul's former adventuring partners, and because Paul also someone that he slept with. And no, that joke is still not old because everyone that Paul seemed to adventure with literally hates him, and it's kind of hilarious. Anyway, the other piece of information, well, two pieces he gets, is that one, his mother has actually been found, but it's a little too dangerous for him to go there, so he needs to go on a side quest for now. And that side quest is an invitation to join the Magic College. At first, he really doesn't think much of the idea, wanting to continue being an adventurer, but after a push from Man God, he's off to magic school. And now it's time to become a school anime. Well, not exactly. Thanks to his sheer skill at magic, he's admitted as one of the school's special students, one of about 6, including himself, students who are considered elites of the elites and really don't have to attend class and can just go about on their own personal magic side quest. In Rudy's case, he actually does go to class, but he's there to try to find a way to cure his ED, as well as study various magics that he either isn't that experienced with or doesn't really know that much. And along the way, he gets some reunions with other characters and a few new encounters that are also pretty fun. And we get a payoff for a number of extra chapters that have been popping up throughout the volume so far. And anything more than that is a massive spoiler. So let's talk about the massive spoilers. But if you want to click off now, you can. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, last check for anyone on Spoiler Town. Throughout the numerous extra chapters of the volumes, we've been following Sylphie's story after the mountain disaster. She basically ended up in the far-off kingdom of Asura and stopped an assassination attempt on a princess named Ariel Anemone Asura. I'm just going to call her Ariel. And she ends up working as Ariel's bodyguard/maid alongside Rudy's cousin, Luke Notice Greyrat. See, that was easier to say. Because of her memory loss early on, she ends up deciding to mask her identity and become known as Fritz. And beguiles a reputation as an amazing bodyguard/magic user who's one of the world's few silent spellcasters. Because, as you remember, most people who use magic need to use the actual incantation to use a spell. But Rudy and Sylphie are one of the pair who don't really need to do it. Although apparently more exist in the world, they're just extremely rare. Anyway, from the last volume's extra chapters, it was revealed that Ariel was considering inviting Rudy to the school because she's trying to gather allies for when she goes back to her kingdom, because the reason she's at the school is because she was ousted from said kingdom. And she's also a student council president, so that's kind of funny. And she also wants to help Sylphie because Sylphie is kind of encouraged for the reunion, and Ariel wants to help her friend out because Ariel does consider Sylphie to be one of her friends, especially after the whole "you saved my life" thing. However, The reunion isn't as Sylvie imagined, and she ends up a little disappointed because, one, Rudy doesn't seem to remember her. He does, it's just that he doesn't know that, well, you're a girl right now because you go around as a guy. And also, Sylvie's hair has changed color. Because of the Mana disaster, her original green hair is now white. So add on the mask that blocks a part of her face, and Rudy literally can't identify her at all because he's kind of dumb like that. Anyway, yeah, she's kind of disappointed that Rudy can't recognize her, but she's still happy to have him back in her life again, and her massive childhood crush on him returns in full force. Speaking of reunions, there's also Zenobia from Volume 6, only 2 volumes ago. Remember the dude who was born with raw power? Raw super strength, and literally rips people's heads off? Yeah, he's back. He was sent to the school after the end of Volume 6, mainly for the shit he did at the end of Volume 6 of nearly killing his brother by ripping off his head. Anyway, he immediately is ecstatic to reunite with Rudy and begin the process of Rudy teaching him how to make the figures he adores so much, or the small statues. And yeah, for the most part, the entire volume is just Rudy's new school life. And while you think that might be a little bit boring compared to what we've had previously, it's still pretty fun. Rudy's still the big idiot he has always been, and one such as, well, early on, accidentally walking into the girls' dorms, or at least the girls' dorms area, with underwear in his hand and being labeled a massive pervert. And after that, in order to help defend Zenobia, he ends up fighting a cat girl and a dog girl, respectively, and imprisons them, dominates them, until they kind of become his servants. Well, the whole schoolyard servant thing. They basically refer to him as boss. Him and Zenobia end up adopting, I'm going to call it that because I don't want to say the other word, a dwarven child that I forget the name of, so that she can make figures for Zenobia, while Zenobia is also working to try to make his own, as the figure making process requires a massive amount of mana, and, well, it's easier to develop a giant mana pool when you're younger. Oh, there's also Elena, who also decides to stick around the school for her own right, partly for entertainment and partly to know more about magic. She's interesting because of the curse that's on her. Oh yeah, she's cursed. So she has a curse on her that requires, I repeat, underline, requires her to have nearly constant sex with men, because she needs the semen or she'll die. She'll just kill over and die without getting laid. That's literally a part of her character. It's hilarious. Everybody's like, you know what? I'd take a piece of that if it wasn't for the fact that I can't get it up right now. Anyway, while she does comment that the curse kind of sucks, she also mentions that she'd probably still live this life anyway, even if it wasn't for the curse. It's kind of funny because she also appeared in an extra chapter, and Roxy kind of walked in on her in the middle of a 5-way, not counting her. So that was entertaining. And again, she readily admits, I'd probably be living life like this either way, even if I didn't have this curse. So, her being on screen is always a fun delight. But I have to admit, my favorite parts of this volume are the Sylphie chapters. And, well, it's where she comments mostly on the main plot and what's happening with Rudy, as well as her happiness to be around him again, / observations of how he's grown up, / her giant massive crush on him, / trying to draw his attention, as well as her trying to exactly make up her mind on what she wants to be with Rudy, whether she wants to stay as friends or whether she wants to pursue romance, while also considering her relationship to the princess as a retainer. The princess retainer trio the princess and her 2 retainers have an honestly pretty fun dynamic, because the princess isn't all business, and her retainers are legitimately kind of hilarious when they get to it. In particular, Luke, because, he's a gray rat man, and He basically is a younger Paul, for those of you who get what I'm saying. Overall, this is a pretty fun chapter in the life of Rudy, and while it does fall back in the whole school life anime cliche thing, it's a pretty interesting take on it, and instead of feeling like a carbon copy of, oh, this is just high school again, it legitimately does feel like a college setting. And, it's still fun to see Sylphie again, and we do get an extra chapter that focuses on Eris. So, yeah. Oh wait, the focus chapter for Eris is next volume. But it's also interesting in the fact that Rudy actually managed to accomplish his original goal of going to the Magic College with Sylphie. What he set out to do before he became Eris's tutor in the first place? I mean, I can't blame you for forgetting because that was literally established in Volume 1. It's just kind of funny to see how it's come full circle in its own weird way.